Suffering from Parkinson's and appealing to court for a sipper in warm clothes. Is this how courts and agencies treat a 83-year-old priest? He was arrested in October on charges of instigating violence in Bhima Koregaon case. And that's the story of Father Stan Swami, currently in Mumbai's Taloja Central Jail. This has now become a textbook case of how insensitive the legal procedure has become. He has been in prison without these basics. The NIA has accused Swami of being involved in activities of the banned CPI Maoist. In his defense, Swami has said that he is being targeted due to his writings and work for Adivasis on the caste and land struggles. Last month, the special court had rejected the bail plea on health grounds as well. What exactly is happening in this case? How long is the wait going to be? Let's get that from my colleague Arvind Gunashekhar joining us live now. Arvind, where exactly does his case stand? We know after much public criticism about not even giving the basic necessities to Father Stan Swami, the NIA came out with another clarification. And they said that they don't have his sipper in possession at all.
Yeah, Sonali, in fact, the NIA, the National Investigation Agency, arrested Father Stan Swami on October 7th, and then they produced him before the judicial court, before the competent court in Maharashtra, after which he was sent to the judicial custody. So since October 7th, Father Stan Swami is currently being lodged at Taloja Jail in Maharashtra. So on November 6, Father Stan Swami, who is 83-year-old, he had moved an application before the competent court in Maharashtra, asking for the NIA to return his straw and zipper. For that, the NIA said that they need around 20 days time to respond to that particular application. On November 26, NIA submitted their response orally before the competent court in Maharashtra, saying that they do not have his zipper under straw. So that's their submission before the NIA court, after which the NIA court, recording the submission of NIA, the NIA court rejected the application of Father Stan Swami, after which subsequent to that particular development, his legal team again moved another application saying that if that's the case, then we are ready to buy a straw and a zipper, and we are ready to send it to the jail at our own cost along with winter clothes. So that's the application that was moved by Father Swami on November 26. Hearing that particular application, now the competent court has asked the jail authorities to respond to that particular application. Here there are 2 points. One, whatever, if you want to take any items outside if you want to take any item inside the jail premises which don't belong to the jail, then you need the court permission. That's where the legal team has moved an application before the competent court, saying that we are ready to provide the straw and the zipper at our own cost. Please give us the direction to the jail authorities so that they allow these items to be taken inside. So what, since November 6, that is for last 20 days, Father Stan Swami has been asking for a straw and a zipper and also winter clothes, but that has not been provided to him. It's been 20 days. He is 83-year-old and he is also suffering from Parkinson's disease. He is an octogenarian. But what is very surprising is that even in the second time, even when the application was moved day before yesterday, the court would have asked the jail authorities to provide the information the very next day, and then they could have disposed the matter. But now the matter has been adjourned for December 4th. Only on December 4th we will be getting to know whether the court will be allowing Father Stan Swami to use a straw and a zipper and also winter clothes. It's not just this. Even earlier he had also moved a bail application citing his ill health, citing his health, citing his age, etc. But that particular bail application was opposed by NIA, saying that he has been arrested under UAPA, and that's why that's a very stringent law, and that's why he should not be. It's a very serious case, and then he should not be provided bail in that particular case. So hearing the NIA's argument, the court has also rejected the bail application of Stan Swami. Again, he has moved another bail. Even that is also likely to be heard in the first week of December. This comes at a very, very important time. Even day before yesterday, even yesterday, the Supreme Court also in a detailed judgment in a other matter had said that the court should rise to the occasion, and then they should try to protect the personal liberty of the people at any cost. So that comes a very important point, because Father Stan Swami, after his arrest, he has been produced before the court and he has been sent to the judicial custody. Not even one day the NIA has taken him into custody, and this case is not a new case. This case has been going for last 3 to 4 years. If he has been very much in India, so why did the NIA arrest? That's his legal team's question. Because if you want someone to be arrested, either he should be flight risk, either he should be either he should be not cooperating with the investigation, either he should be evasive. But in this particular case, for the last 3 years, Father Stan Swami was very much in India. He is not flight risk. He is very much cooperating with the investigation. Then why should he be in jail? Why should not the court grant him bail? So that's one particular question his legal team is raising.
Right. And Arvind, in your experience of covering several of these bail cases and these high-profile cases as well, is this an exception that you see? Generally, requests like these of medicines, etc., would just be passed out as a footnote in the order. Why is it taking so long only in this case?
Yeah, Sonal. In fact, even in several cases, whenever an accused is arrested, whenever an accused is sent to a judicial custody, the accused will move an application on the very same day saying that I have to use my own spectacles. Because even to take your own spectacles inside the jail premises, you need the consent court order. So, in such cases, the court, they don't even usually ask the jail authorities for any permission. The court authorities will say that you can take your own spectacles inside, etc. So, these all will be done. All these things will be done by the consent court at the very same hearing itself. But in this particular case, earlier we saw the court issuing a notice to NIA, and then NIA saying that we don't have his straw under zipper because we didn't take him into custody. And then now he is saying, now again when he moved an application saying that if that's the case, then we are ready to provide a new straw under zipper at our own cost. Just give us a direction to use it inside the jail premises. Again, the court has asked the jail authorities to respond to that particular play. So it's a bit unusual, but again we have to wait and see what happens on December 4th.
All right, thanks for that, Arvind. Let me take that forward with my guest this morning. If you're joined by Tushar Gandhi. Mr. Gandhi, here's a man, an 83-year-old man who is suffering from Parkinson's. He's almost lost hearing in both his ears. He's also, in some reports that we've been getting, fallen in the jail multiple times. He's been operated for hernia twice and still in pain in his lower abdomen. And he also needs to be protected in the middle of all of this from COVID. What is this system that we are looking at?
Well, I think this is one of the more frequent shameful episodes in our democracy. Unfortunately, our democratic system has been corrupted to such an extent that even the qualities that our founders enshrined in our constitution seem to be of no consequence anymore. And in particular with law enforcement agencies, and now, unfortunately, even with the judiciary, we see that there is an absolute stony-hearted and partial kind of behavior by both. The law enforcement agencies I won't like to speak about because they have always been enslaved by the ruling government, and they've always behaved as an arm of the ruling government and not as a. But the judiciary, the role of the judiciary is also extremely despicable over here, and we see from time to time that they seem to be catering to just the influential and the high profile and not actually serving the cause of law and justice.
Right.
It's a dangerous situation.
Right. Even if the case is punishable under the UAPA, for the benefit of our viewers, it's actually the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, in which interim bail is not really entitled in that case. So, but here is a man, you look at his age, you look at the condition he is in, it sort of is baffling. The courts have not taken note of that. As my colleague Arvind was also pointing out, that jail should be an exception. That's been stated time and again by the Supreme Court itself. In this case, forget that, even basics of providing an ailing man his basic needs is being taken away from him.
That is what is the most worrying. I don't mind, even if they feel that he is public enemy number one and a gravest threat to the nation, if they decide that he doesn't deserve bail. But even while being incarcerated, there are prison manuals and there are norms of working of the prison and the rights of the prisoners, and that demands that those facilities should be provided to them. A court that feels very concerned about the personal liberty of a high-profile newsreader does not have the compassion for an old geriatric person who is suffering and who has a proven medical condition. It's not as if it's been imagined because they were arrested. You know, like many of the high-profile people suddenly develop medical conditions when they are faced with jail. And the court seems to be very compassionate about that. And what shows about this corruption in the judiciary, and it's the ethical and moral corruption that is more worrying. You know, I don't mind if they do things for considerations other than that, but at least ethically and morally, they should be above suspicion, and unfortunately, they aren't. And they should be condemned very strongly. You know, it's no longer going to be enough to just be civil in the criticism. I think they need abuse now. The judiciary must be soundly abused.
All right, we leave it there for the moment. Thank you, Tushar Gandhi, for joining us and bringing in your perspective on the story. This is, in fact, something that we are watching very, very closely right here on NDTV.